Sorry. Is that working? I can't tell. Anyway. Oh, there. Welcome to the Super Gringo podcast. Now, I don't have much planned tonight. I'm hoping chat will take off and we can actually talk to people. But there are a few things I want to. I have some talking, like notes. Normally, I have it planned out with sound effects and everything. But tonight, it's drink beer and see if anybody comes in on the chat. And I have my Instagram open, which has been quite entertaining. I guess we had another mass shooting, and everyone is kind of interested in the fact of what caused. Someone actually had the nerve to say, "What's changed?" Anyway, as you noticed in the intro, they found cocaine at the White House, and everyone's kind of shocked. There's a coke addict who visited the White House right before that, and they're shocked that they found cocaine. Now, they're trying to insinuate that it might be one of the employees who works at the White House. There's something that, and Jimmy Barn Talking can back this up. Every federal employee goes through random drug tests. Now, you could probably slide with marijuana because, but cocaine, it takes like 30 days to get out of your system, and that's pretty much automatic termination. So, yeah. Anyway. And then there's something I wanted to talk about again that I talked about last week. I think is interesting. And I think it should be, I'm going to bring it up again this week with the audio again, because what does everyone think of a third party? Trump, RFK Jr.
Well, RFK Jr. has an attribute that Trump possesses. It's called authenticity. When you listen to him and you talk to him, and I have, it's very clear he's telling you exactly what he thinks. That carries enormous weight with the American people. Ideally, I would like to see those two gentlemen get together and form a third party. I think it's time. I think it could be done. You've got to get on the ballot, but that's not an insurmountable obstacle. The problem I have is beyond, just get on the ballot. It's the election process itself. I mean, it's corrupt. I grew up in North Philadelphia. We haven't had a clean election in that city in 60 years. Come on, wake up, smell the coffee. Chicago, New York City, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, forget it. Now with mail-in ballots, absentee ballots, I mean, we're not even talking about the software. This is just crazy. It's nonsense. The French tried it. It didn't work because the whole system was corrupted. Anybody who's looked at this reasonably and objectively has said this can't work. The reason the states are in charge of our electoral process is because when the Constitution was written, people all agreed that the federal government in 1787 had no money, had no staffing. So all the states had it. So they said, well, we'll have to let the states run the elections. It was a practical decision, but we've never addressed it. We've never gone back. If you go to most European states, modern European states, they have strict regulations and a strict process that requires proof of citizenship, proof of legal residence. You have to show up in person. Then your party affiliation is checked if you're registered to a party. Then everybody who's there from the various parties approves you. Then you get a ballot. Then you go, you turn it in, bring the ballot back. They take the ballot. They put it in the box. That's how you run an election. We can't run an election in Georgia that is radically different from the election we run in Philadelphia. We've got to have them be the same across the country. And no one wants to do that. And, that's a constitutional amendment. We forget the Constitution was also designed, in the 1780s? It's hardly relevant to the nation that we have today. There are many good things about it, but the Constitution is the structure of government. Didn't say the Bill of Rights, Bill of Rights are sacrosanct. Those are what make us as Americans. They're being trampled on left and right these days, and that needs to stop. But as far as the Constitution is concerned, we've got to rethink this whole structure of government for the 21st century. Once again, nobody wants to go there. But if you have the kind of upheaval that I think is coming, we may have the opportunity to do that. The election litigation was about Dominion software. I wasn't present there. I am somewhat familiar with it, but I can't comment on it from a legal standpoint as to whether or not it's a meritorious outcome. But I do know that when it comes to absentee ballots and mail-in ballots, that's a catastrophe. That is an open door for corruption on steroids. And if that's what we're going to see, and I think we will in all the blue states, I don't see any evidence at all that anyone on the right can win that election. Well, if we get to 2024 and the left does what I think it's going to do, which is what it did the last time, they're going to win the election. I don't know, but I don't see, this is back to the question of what happens then. In other words, do you sit and take it as an American, or do you say, no, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that?
Are you fucking getting it yet?
Now, the third party thing, there's a reason I think it's time, and I think these two could be the ones to pull it off, and I'll tell you why. Why is the loony left targeting these two people? Remember, RFK Jr. is one of theirs. He's a Democrat. Why are they targeting these two so hard? There is a reason. If you're pissing off the loony left, you're doing something I like. Because if you're pissing off people who cannot tell you what gender they are, anyway. Now, speaking of the loony left, I keep inviting them over here. Over and over and over and over. Wait a minute. Let me see some of the comments. That's why I kept this close. Let me see. Steve here. Steve is a fucking wonder tard. I told him he was going to be on the somehow we're all racist. Hey, man. Republicans, by the way. Although more black men are dying in blue cities than red cities. For instance, New Orleans, number one in the country, hasn't elected a Republican since 1870. I covered this in another podcast. I could cover it again if one of these dumbasses shows up. But I invited him over, and it's Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live chat. No point. Republicans don't hear anything. You against affirmative action. Google was Lincoln a liberal. Every post that comes up confirms it. Every program he started was liberal. You are on the wrong side. Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the populist bomb. Like I said, no point. If you had typed in four words into Google, I might have thought about you. You won't listen to facts. The party switch, historical facts, or persuasive myth. How liberal policies destroyed black families. These are the things I'm posting. I'm posting facts. He's babbling. Shocked by segregation. The new progressive Democrat plantation. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, I'm inviting him. Saturdays. And then I gave him the address to the Super Gringo podcast. They don't want to show up. They know they're going to get destroyed. They know I know what I'm fucking talking about. They know I have... Jimmy will tell you, I have enough facts. If I can't beat them intellectually, I'll put them to fucking sleep. Beer.
Let's rock.
None of these people want to play with me. And chat is still blank. So, I did some research recently because of Jim. I hadn't looked it up till Jim mentioned it.
Fuck off past the deer stand.
Jim. And he mentioned BRICS. Well, what BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. I think it's BRIC now. I think they dropped South Africa. All decided to drop the dollar for trading. They're going to trade amongst themselves in, I believe it's Chinese yuan. So, and the reason they did that was Sniffy Joe, when the invasion of Crimea or Ukraine started, blocked Russia from using the dollar to trade with. So he actually kind of motivated them to de-dollar. So let me explain what's going to happen to all the, because we print these dollars for the reserve, the international reserve, that they trade with. We print those, right? And we send them to them. And they actually do sit in a big vault, in each country's vault, in the Federal Bank in New York City. I've taken tours of that. Anyway, that's also where they store some of the gold. It's not all at Fort Knox. But what they do with those dollars, once they're not using them, they will sell them back to the United States. And guess what's going to happen to your market? Because you have all these new dollars. That's right. Inflation. So you're on your way to a, you probably are, you're in it now, but they keep just changing the definition, a recession. So you enjoy that fact. By the way, I got to look something up while we're here. I believe, no, it's F, let me go F10. Oh, yeah, I got to look it up. Come on. All right, got to look it up here. New tab. I don't have an engineer like other podcasts. It's just me. So, I got to go to Google. There we go. Make sure you can see the Google. Yeah, there it is. We're good. Anyway, let's go to inflation tax. So, a loony leftist said, inflation isn't a tax. Oh my God, because I brought up the fact that Sniffy Joe lied, that anyone under $400,000 was not going to have their taxes raised. Inflation tax, okay. And they said it's not a tax, and not everybody is just, yeah, okay. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Inflation tax is a penalty on the cash you possess. As the rate of inflation rises, the inflation tax is the penalty on the cash you possess. So, fuck off, shut the fuck up, learn some fucking economics, and you wouldn't sound so fucking stupid. You see, voting stupid has consequences. Unfortunately, everyone has to pay along with you. If you're a fucking idiot, fine, I don't care. But stop making other people pay for your fuck-ups. Don't vote. Sit at home. Take George Carlin's advice. Don't vote. Sit at home. Take George Carlin's advice. All right. Need another beer? I'll be right back. Yeah, I always turn the mic off when I get up now, but I'll turn it back on for this. Listen, it's the sweetest sound on the planet Earth. Next to, it's payday. All right, now the next topic, I just have notes here, talking points. I'm waiting for someone to come in to chat and say something. Like Jim, Andy, Andy.
Are you fucking getting it yet?
Andy.
Are you fucking getting it yet?
But why I'm not voting for DeSantis. And I can vote in your elections, by the way, folks. It's called absentee balloting, or absentee voting. I'm still a U.S. citizen, fucktards. So my favorite is to fuck with loony leftists, to the accepted inclusivity. If I start speaking to them in Portuguese, they'll tell me, speak English, this is America, and I tell them, speak Portuguese, this is Brazil. Anyway, yeah, the all inclusive ones, yeah, they're fucking idiots. Anyway, and I mean, everybody's giving them the chance to put their money where their mouth is. Shipping illegal immigrants to like the vineyards there, and what they do, they shipped them out to a military base. So, but the reason I won't vote for DeSantis is the loony left isn't losing their mind about him. I mean, they're making claims like he's banning books and shit like that, but they're not targeting like Trump. They're not making up charges. They're not trying to put him in prison. They're just calling him names. If they're just calling you names, you haven't pissed them off enough, which tells me they think he'll be just status quo. Just like, most of the rhinos in Congress now. Have you ever noticed how close to the ones that call themselves Republicans sound, that are actually rhinos, Republican in name only, sound remarkably like the loony left? My favorite is gun control. That came up today. Let me write that down. Gun control. What changed? Oh, I already did earlier. Anyway, so I won't vote for DeSantis because I personally think he's just a rhino. He's just going to status quo, man, to draw his check, get those paybacks, kickbacks like Biden and everybody else in the White House has. And till his time's up, and then he can start selling books and become a millionaire. Of course, I think he's been in the Senate before. Maybe the Florida Senate. I don't remember. I don't really care. Let me look it up. That's the great thing about having my... Come on, F10. I don't have an engineer, so I got to do this shit myself. Oh, let's see. Could go. Let's see. Ron DeSantis. I just want to know about it. He's governor of Florida now, of course. But I'm trying to figure out. You want to come up? Yeah, this computer wasn't really made for all that stuff. But Ron DeSantis, an American pilot serving since 2019 as the 46th governor of Florida, a member of the Republican Party. He represents, let me see, this is Wikipedia. Fuck it. I just want to know where else he served, because he's a rhino. I personally think he served in the U.S. House of Representatives from 2013 to 2018. So, yeah, he served in Congress, U.S. House of Representatives. So I was right. But yeah, I think he'd be a right. I mean, I like what he's done with the schools, getting CRT out of there, all that stuff. But more or less just. I think he'd be a rhino. So I just won't vote for him. Okay. Driving school. I have to go back to driving school. I've been driving for over 30 years, but I have to go back to driving school. Not that driving is my problem. I mean, I've driven in Iraq, Afghanistan, all over the United States. From tanks to fucking Jeeps to armored personnel carriers to Humvees to MRAPs to motorcycles to, I miss my motorcycle. But My problem is not driving. My problem is Portuguese. I have to take a written test that I can barely read. You ever feel illiterate, but you're not? I'm just illiterate in Portuguese. Not totally illiterate. I can read some Portuguese. I can decipher some Portuguese. So, yeah, I start my classes Monday. They're online, Monday's classes through Zoom. 4 hours a night for, I think, 5 days. So, yeah, they put you through the ringer. I had to take a psychiatric, or what they call a technical test to see if I'm crazy or not. And if I have reason. Can I reason? Do I have common sense or not? Again, I can't speak Portuguese well, so I did screw up on one part of the test. Then I have to do those classes. It's basically like our 5-hour course, but it's longer and it's online. And oh my fucking God. And then, because they're going to go through a book I have that I've been reading. Then I have to do, for car, I have to take a road test like I do in the States. Driving here is different than it is in the States. It's more like driving in Iraq, except I don't drive down the center of the road and the fucking road isn't fucking exploding, Then I take the motorcycle test is on a course. So it's fucking like the motorcycle test in the States is on the road, but you do basically the same stuff, you know what I mean? You kind of drive around the block. Here they just build the block. But then tonight we're riding in the Uber, and I'm watching motorcycles like pass between cars. There's like some mysterious imaginary third lane for these people, and they're like literally just flying between cars. I'm thinking back on my Yamaha V-Star. That fucker wouldn't even fit between two cars. To be ripping mirrors off and shit. Anyway,
let's rock.
Then, driving school. Then we had, there was a news story on Instagram that the White House called for Facebook to suppress Tucker Carlson's story. I didn't read the whole story. I could look it up now and read it, but I just, Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's going to be something about either Hunter or Sniffy Joe being corrupt. That's one of my, which one is it? One of my, you're in a cult if. Let me see, I believe it's 47, 46. Let me see, 46. I believe it's 46.
You know you're in a cult if. Number 46. You believe Joe Biden is a good president and isn't corrupt at all. Number 46. You believe Joe Biden is a good president and isn't corrupt at all.
Yeah, that's 46. Yes, they're in a cult. And they hate when I post it or the video. They won't even watch the video. I might actually have to add a 49th now. Will babble incoherently because you did not watch the video, you only looked at the title. And then they will still do everything on the list. Folks, this list that I made, I didn't make it. I just wrote shit down. You did it. I give you like little check marks, you loony leftist, check marks. If you did the same behavior for 3 times, especially on the same feed, Facebook, Instagram, same feed, I wrote it down. We're up to fucking 49. Well, I might add number 49 now. Holy shit. But back to the White House violating the First Amendment. See, Facebook technically, yes, can censor who they want. They're a private entity. The government cannot. First Amendment. Does everybody remember what the First Amendment says? Well, those civil rights, the first, I think there's like 23 of them now, but there were 10. The original 10 are to curtail the power of the government. The government cannot curtail free speech. Now, they can't ask a private entity to curtail free speech. Now, if Facebook had just taken it down, nothing really you could do. You could probably sue them, maybe even get a little money out of it. I'm hoping Elon Musk is training hard for his cage fight and Muay Thai, baby. Bust his fucking face open. Although I'm not an total Elon, like I don't trust the motherfucker. Sorry. But don't know him either. I don't trust Trump either. I just like the money I had in my pocket. That was awesome. Nobody else likes money, I guess. Whatever. Let's see what else we got. The reason the left uses racist, Nazi, fascist, and white supremacists, and I heard this today, it's to shut down free speech for people who are afraid. I'm not afraid. That's the problem. You could call me all these things, and I'll just tell you to fuck off. They do it all the time. A little tip, though, because it happened again today, and it drives me crazy. If you're going to call me a racist, white supremacist, or anything like that, as a matter of fact, this douchebag had BLM, by large mansions, on his profile picture. Literally said BLM. So I just gave him a tip. If you're going to call someone else a racist, do us a favor. Go outside and actually let the sun touch your fucking skin. You look like you should be in a cave, hanging upside down, thinking about the next neck you're going to bite. Alright, I did the third party. The new one. Someone today asked about the mass shootings. We didn't used to have them. What's changed? So I just typed back, what pronouns do you prefer? And they missed the whole point. And they said, what's that got to do with mass shootings? What's going on? Like, because I posted, my original post said, as a matter of fact, I can bring it up if you want. Let me see here. I think I still have it. There. Let me see. It's one of the. Let me see. Trying to cult member ones there. Being in a cult because they keep doing it. It's never the gun. Which one is it? Let me see. I don't have an engineer. I can't go. Bring that up for me, will you? Let's see. Oh, number 28.
You know you're in a cult if. Number 28. You've been normalizing mental illness for decades, but you believe it's a gun problem, not a mental health problem.
So she came back with, what's changed? I'm like, well, when I went to school, we had a gun club in my school. We had a range in the basement. People who've lived in McGraw know what I'm talking about. We had a range in the basement, and we used to teach hunter safety in class, and people would bring their guns to school, and we never had a mass shooting. I can tell you what changed, and I typed, what pronouns do you prefer? She didn't get it. She was like, well, it can't be a mental health problem. We've always had mental health and problem. And then I typed back, I typed, oh shit, what was the second one I typed? Oh, if you're white, you're racist. CRT. Still didn't get it. And then she was, what are you babbling on about? What's changed in school? And I finally I've been telling you what's changed. I've been telling you what's causing this shit. You have fucking lunatics teaching kids. That's why. If you look at someone and say, they probably wouldn't pass a background check for a gun, you probably shouldn't have them teaching your fucking kids for 10 hours a day, or how many hours they do it. You fucking dumbasses. Guess what? You cannot change your gender. It doesn't happen. You cause some mental and physical damage, but you can't change your gender. Mother Nature did certain things a certain way for a reason. And turns out she seems to be very religious, and I'm like, they don't teach religion in school. She said, well, I sent my kids to Catholic school. I was like, well, some people don't want to send their kids to religious school. I believe in God, but Jesus said in the New Testament 35 fucking times, mind your own fucking business. And if everybody did that, we'd be in a nicer world. Like, don't bring your shit to school. No one cares what you do with your pee-pee. That's something you keep at home. Mind your own business. And the loony left are constantly going, we're not grooming kids. It's not, you can't indoctrinate kids with this stuff. Then why isn't it a problem in Brazil where they don't push this stuff? I've seen two people. One, I think, was a transvestite drug addict who was just trying to make a living. And the other one worked in a shoe store. And you know what they didn't have on them? Fucking rainbows. They just want to live. And people want to let them live. You don't need special fucking months. You don't need, just shut the fuck up. No one cares. Just don't tell kids about it. Kids will evolve the way depending on what they're supposed to do. Once they're an adult, well, they can find more on their phone. Well, who the fuck is? Why aren't you worried about what they're looking at on their phone? Like I told my kids, when you're 18, you're an adult. You're old enough to be drafted. You're old enough to solve your own problems. I mean, if I have advice, I'd give it to them, but it ain't my job to. But yeah, and then she's like talking like it's the guns. It's like, what, did guns get more dangerous? I think they've been killing for years. It's mental. You normalize mental health, and guess what? You get fucking crazy people. It's not even hard. It's not even a hard line to draw. It isn't. Really, it isn't. And it's a first world problem. I mean, we have violence in Brazil. As a matter of fact, Brazil has a higher murder rate. But they don't go into schools. They don't target the innocent or the people, They'll firefight with the police. They'll even kill other drug dealers. But in the favela, no. So, it's a first world problem. And I've been to the Middle East, and it's more violent there than it is in America. Mainly because most of you are cowards. Proof, because there isn't a single loony leftist over here that I've invited. They're cowards. And then today, we went to a resort in Florianopolis to talk to someone about a timeshare. Holy shit. Usually everything here is so cheap. I'm like, hey, not a big deal. Holy shit. So we sat there and they were like, yeah, you pay, I think it's $1,600 a day. And then, after 10 years, blah, 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 yakety schmackety, words. And then you own some timeshare, some apartment. It's a beautiful resort. They have a lot of activities. Come to find out, it's American owned. But, yeah, way fucking expensive. I think in the end we would have paid like $125,000 for the fucking thing, and only could stay there like in like July. Fuck off. Anyway, while I'm waiting for someone to come in the chat, let's play something funny.
Perhaps one of the most interesting words in the English language today is the word fuck. Out of all of the English words that begin with the letter F, fuck is the only word that is referred to as the F word. It's the one magical word. Just by its sound can describe pain, pleasure, hate, and love. Fuck, as most words in the English language, is derived from German, the word frichen, which means to strike. In English, fuck falls into many grammatical categories. As a transitive verb, for instance, John fucked Shirley. As an intransitive verb, Shirley fucks. Its meaning's not always sexual. It can be used as an adjective, such as, John's doing all the fucking work. As part of an adverb, Shirley talks too fucking much. As an adverb enhancing an adjective, Shirley is fucking beautiful. As a noun, I don't give a fuck. As part of a word, abso-fucking-lutely, or in-fucking-credible. And, as almost every word in a sentence, fuck the fucking fuckers. As you must realize, there aren't too many words with the versatility of fuck, as in these examples describing situations such as fraud, I got fucked at the used car lot. Dismay, oh fuck it. Trouble, I guess I'm really fucked now. Aggression, don't fuck with me, buddy. Difficulty, I don't understand this fucking question. Inquiry, who the fuck was that? Dissatisfaction, I don't like what the fuck is going on here. Incompetence, he's a fuck off. Dismissal, why don't you go outside and play hide and go fuck yourself? I'm sure you can think of many more examples. With all of these multi-purpose applications, how can anyone be offended when you use the word? We say, use this unique, flexible word more often in your daily speech. It will identify the quality of your character immediately. Say it loudly and proudly. Fuck you!
Well, what the fuck?
George Carlin, man. He's the best. I think he wrote that. I don't think that's his voice. But yeah, there was another one I wanted to do on here of George Carlin, which has to do with global warming. Because perfect, and it's so fucking accurate. He had to look up the numbers, okay? Because everything there is scientifically accurate. And I'll throw this on because I'm going to go get another cold snack.
You got people like this around you. Country's full of them now. People walking around all day long, every minute of the day, worried about everything. Worried about the air, worried about the water, worried about the soil. Worried about insecticides, pesticides, food additives, carcinogens. Worried about radon gas, worried about asbestos. Worried about saving endangered species. Let me tell you about endangered species, all right? Saving endangered species is just one more arrogant attempt by humans to control nature. It's arrogant meddling. It's what got us in trouble in the first place. Doesn't anybody understand that? Interfering with nature. Over 90%, way over 90% of all the species that have ever lived on this planet, are gone. They're extinct. We didn't kill them all. They just disappeared. That's what nature does. They disappear these days at the rate of 25 a day. And I mean regardless of our behavior. Irrespective of how we act on this planet, 25 species that were here today will be gone tomorrow. Let them go gracefully. Leave nature alone. Haven't we done enough? We're so self-important. So self-important. Everybody's going to save something now. Save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails. And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to care for one another. We're gonna save the fucking planet? I'm getting tired of that shit. Tired of that shit. Tired. I'm tired of fucking Earth Day. I'm tired of these self-righteous environmentalists, these white bourgeois liberals who think the only thing wrong with this country is there aren't enough bicycle paths. People trying to make the world safe for their Volvos. Besides, environmentalists don't give a shit about the planet. They don't care about the planet. Not in the abstract, they don't. Not in the abstract, they don't. You know what they're interested in? A clean place to live. Their own habitat. They're worried that someday in the future they might be personally inconvenienced. Narrow, unenlightened self-interest doesn't impress me. Besides, there is nothing wrong with the planet. Nothing wrong with the planet. The planet is fine. The people are fucked. Difference. Difference. The planet is fine. Compared to the people, the planet is doing great. It's been here 4.5 billion years. Did you ever think about the arithmetic? Planet has been here 4.5 billion years. We've been here, what, 100,000? Maybe 200,000? And we've only been engaged in heavy industry for a little over 200 years. 200 years versus 4.5 billion. And we have the conceit to think that somehow we're a threat? That somehow we're going to put in jeopardy this beautiful little blue-green ball that's just a-floating around the sun? The planet has been through a lot worse than us. Been through all kinds of things worse than us. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, hundreds of thousands of years of bombardment by comets and asteroids and meteors, worldwide floods, tidal waves, worldwide fires, erosion, cosmic rays, recurring ice ages, and we think some plastic bags and some aluminum cans are going to make a difference? The planet isn't going anywhere. We are. We're going away. Pack your shit, folks. We're going away. And we won't leave much of a trace either. Thank God for that. Maybe a little styrofoam. Maybe. Little styrofoam. Planet will be here and we'll be long gone. Just another failed mutation. Just another closed-end biological mistake. An evolutionary cul-de-sac. The planet will shake us off like a bad case of fleas. A surface nuisance. You want to know how the planet's doing? Ask those people at Pompeii who are frozen into position from volcanic ash how the planet's doing. Want to know if the planet's all right? Ask those people in Mexico City or Armenia or 100 other places buried under thousands of tons of earthquake rubble if they feel like a threat to the planet this week. How about those people in Kilauea, Hawaii who build their homes right next to an active volcano and then wonder why they have lava in the living room? The planet will be here for a long, long, long time after we're gone, and it will heal itself, it will cleanse itself, because that's what it does. It's a self-correcting system. The air and the water will recover, the earth will be renewed, and if it's true that plastic is not degradable, well, the planet will simply incorporate plastic into a new paradigm, the earth plus plastic. The earth doesn't share our prejudice towards plastic. Plastic came out of the earth. The earth probably sees plastic as just another one of its children. Could be the only reason the earth allowed us to be spawned from it in the first place. It wanted plastic for itself. Didn't know how to make it. Needed us. Could be the answer to our age-old philosophical question, why are we here? Plastic. Assholes. So, The plastic is here. Our job is done. We can be phased out now. And I think that's really started already, don't you? I mean, to be fair, the planet probably sees us as a mild threat, something to be dealt with. And I'm sure the planet will defend itself in the manner of a large organism, like a beehive or an ant colony can muster a defense. I'm sure the planet will think of something. What would you do if you were the planet trying to defend against this pesky, troublesome species? Let's see. What might... viruses. Viruses might be good. They seem vulnerable to viruses. And viruses are tricky, always mutating and forming new strains whenever a vaccine is developed. Perhaps this first virus could be one that compromises the immune system of these creatures. Perhaps a human immunodeficiency virus, making them vulnerable to all sorts of other diseases and infections that might come along. And maybe it could be spread sexually, making them a little reluctant to engage in the act of reproduction. Well, that's a poetic note. And it's a start. And I can dream, can't I? See, I don't worry about the little things. Bees, trees, whales, snails. I think we're part of a greater wisdom than we will ever understand. A higher order. Call it what you want. Know what I call it? The big electron. The big electron. Whoa. 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 It doesn't punish. It doesn't reward. It doesn't judge at all. It just is. And so are we. For a little while. Thanks for being here with me for a little while tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I just sent out a just call to show up, come into live chat, be an asshole to a bunch of other loony leftists on Instaface, and so far,
That's what I thought. You're a gutless turd.
They won't come over here, I guess, because
By dickless here.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
yes, they'll run their face on Instaface over and literally go down that list, that you're in a cult if list, and then get mad. Like the douchebag I was talking about earlier, I was just posting numbers, and yeah, that's another one today I had. Some dude, I might bring it up to 50. I was literally posting statistics, facts and statistics. As Jimmy will tell you, I know, anyway, I was posting facts and statistics about the myth of the red state murder problem. Well, if you want to lower that red state murder problem, kick all your fucking blue cities out of there, because that's where it happens. Or stop hiring fucking lunatic, or stop electing lunatic Democrats to run fucking cities. Wow. Anyway, the reason red states have such a high murder rate is because they have blue cities in them. The mayors who appoint their district attorneys and their police chiefs and all those people to enforce the laws, and then they decide how they're going to enforce them. Scumbags.
Facts are powerful and stubborn things. Unfortunately, some on the left have tried to advance their arguments by using facts about state murder rates that, while technically true, are at best meaningless when taken out of context and at worst misleading and downright dangerous when used as the basis for public policy decisions. Enter the red state murder problem. It sounds ominous, but it's not. It is also highly misleading. Those on the left note that their soft-on-crime policies have wreaked havoc in the cities where they have implemented those policies. It is not hard to understand why reforms such as ending cash bail, defunding the police, refusing to prosecute entire categories of crimes, letting thousands of convicted, significantly cutting the prison population, and other progressive ideas have led to massive spikes in crime, particularly violent crime, including murder, in the communities where those on the left have implemented them. Left-wing politicians and their backers recognize that rising crime rates and the lack of a general sense of safety that follows are a problem for them and their chances for re-election. In fact, recent polls show that voters care a lot about rising crime, an issue that is second only to rising, rampant inflation and the lackluster economy. So the left is engaging in political traditions as old as time, obfuscation, finger-pointing, and blame-shifting. One liberal organization, The Third Way, even went so far as to publish a study arguing that Republicans are actually to blame for the spike in murders across the country. The not-so-subtle suggestion the study pushes is that those on the left are not responsible for rising crime rates, because crime is rising everywhere, especially in Republican-led states. Fighting for their political survival, left-wing politicians such as Gavin Newsom and Larry Krasner have recently started to parrot the results of this study. But crime tends to be a hyper-localized phenomenon. State-level data are generally meaningless except as a tool with which to score political points. More to the point, when the crime statistics from the deep blue big cities within these otherwise deep red states are removed, what happens? The state-level crime rates fall, in some cases, dramatically.
Crime trends.
Until recently, crime, including violent crime, has been declining across the United States since the peak of the last crime wave in 1992. Not surprisingly, since incarceration trails crime waves, incarceration rates have also been falling dramatically since they last peaked in 2008. Unfortunately, however, the 25-plus-year drop in crime since 1992 has ended for many cities across the United States. The rise in crime, especially violent crime, started taking place around 2015 after the confluence of a series of events that took place over the course of a few years. Those events include police-involved shootings of black community members, the defund the police movement, the election of rogue prosecutors funded or inspired by George Soros and other elitist billionaires, and the Ferguson/Minneapolis effect, by which unwarranted public scrutiny of police resulted in police drastically reducing proactive policing. Crime was rising in select cities across the country before the global COVID-19 pandemic struck in March 2020, but it rose even more significantly after the death of George Floyd on May 25, 2020. The cumulative effect of these events contributed to and in large part set the conditions for increased crime across much of the country, especially in cities where the toxic trio of rogue prosecutors, defund the police zealotry, and demonization/demoralization of the police existed. In those
Forgot to hit the talk button. But they're worried about a Marine who defended a bunch of people and Donald Trump, who may actually win the nomination. That's what they're worried about.
Those cities and others with some mixture of this toxic trio crime has exploded across most categories, including but not limited to murder. As the old saying goes, the best defense is a good offense. So instead of defending their calls to defund the police, the elections of pro-criminal rogue prosecutors, or their pattern and practice of demonizing police, some on the left have decided to flip the narrative and argue that it is the Republican states that have the real crime rate problem, especially when it comes to murder. The Red State Murder Herring. On March 15, 2022, a left-wing advocacy organization called The Third Way published a 15-page study with the provocative title, The Red State Murder Problem. Written by Jim Kessler, a longtime Democratic policy director to Representative/Senator Charles Chuck Schumer, and Kylie Murdoch, a former intern for Congresswoman Barbara Lee and volunteer for Elizabeth Warren for president, the study states that murder rates are far higher in Trump-voting red states than Biden-voting blue states. So that the reader won't miss the political drift, the authors add, and sometimes, murder rates are highest in cities with Republican mayors. The crime rate is the number of crimes reported to law enforcement agencies for every 100,000 persons within a given population. It is calculated by dividing the number of reported crimes by the total population. The result is then multiplied by 100,000. Not surprisingly, dozens of media outlets, including The Washington Post, The Hill, Inside Edition, PolitiFact, The Daily Beast, Los Angeles Magazine, The San Francisco Examiner, NBC News and others, picked up the study and breathlessly reported on its findings. Even Paul Krugman, New York Times opinion columnist and economist, has joined the echo chamber, albeit with an unconvincing and divorced from reality opinion piece wherein he opines that nobody knows for sure what caused the surge. We have a pretty good idea, and many voters apparently are starting to figure it out as well. The study's authors and those reporting its results took advantage of the fact that the average reader does not know much about crime trends, how crime rates are calculated, and at what level, city/county/state, etc., these statistics should be reviewed. Because of that, the third way study sounds important and shocking to most readers who visit these news websites. As noted earlier, however, most crime is hyper-localized, so the fundamental flaw with the study and the reason it does not deserve any serious consideration is that the murder rate in each state is largely a function of the large number of murders in a state's biggest city or cities. A supermajority of those cities, even in otherwise red states, are deep blue and run by left-wing ideologues. When you remove the crime-infested, homicide-riddled cities from the state murder rate featured in the third-way study, you dramatically lower the murder rate for that state, appending their conclusions and exposing the piece for what it really is, a straightforward attempt at political projection dressed up as a study. Said another way, Kessler and Murdoch did their level best as political operatives to blame their political opponents for the very thing, rising crime, that leftist policies at the city and county levels have caused. While a state's murder rate is perhaps politically interesting, a more accurate reflection of what is actually happening on the ground is gained by reviewing localized murder rates, such as murder rates in a city or county. What does this review show? Table 1 lists the 30 cities with the highest murder rates in the United States as of June 30, 2022. Not surprisingly, of those 30 cities, 27 have Democratic mayors, the exceptions being Lexington and Jacksonville, which have Republican mayors, and Las Vegas, whose mayor is an independent. And within those 30 cities there are at least 14 Soros-backed or Soros-inspired rogue prosecutors. Those Soros-bought and paid for or inspired rogue prosecutors include Jason Williams, New Orleans Parish District Attorney; Marilyn Mosby, Baltimore City State's Attorney; Kim Gardner, St. Louis Circuit Attorney; John T. Chisholm, Milwaukee County District Attorney; Larry Krasner, Philadelphia District Attorney; Kim Fox, Cook County, Chicago, State's Attorney. Cities with highest homicide rates, as of June 2022. City. Number of homicides. Homicide rate per 100,000 population. New Orleans, Louisiana. 145. 36.8. Baltimore, Maryland. 174. 29.1. Birmingham, Alabama. 59. 28.0. St. Louis, Missouri. 83. 27.8. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 112. 19.0. Cleveland, O. 64. 16.9. Rochester, New York. 34. 16.6. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 240. 15.1. Atlanta, Georgia. 74. 14.9. Kansas City, Missouri. 73. 14.6. Washington, D.C. 104. 14.6. Richmond, Virginia. 31. 13.3. Oakland, California. 54. 12.3. Cincinnati, O. 36. 11.8. Chicago, Illinois. 304. 11.2. Louisville, Kentucky. 73. 10.8. Albuquerque, New Mexico. 56. 10. Minneapolis, Minnesota. 43. 9.9. Dallas, Texas. 122. 9.0. Nashville, Tennessee. 55. 8.0. Durham, North Carolina. 22. 7.7. Lexington, Kentucky. 23. 7.1. Jacksonville, Florida. 63. 6.8. Greensboro, North Carolina. 19. 6.3. Los Angeles, California. 176. 4.4. Colorado Springs, Co. 19. 3.9. Las Vegas, Nevada. 63. 3.7. Virginia Beach, Virginia. 13. 2.9. San Francisco, California. 23. 2.6. New York, New York. 197. 2.4. Sources, Datalytics, Whitey Murder Comparison, Access November 3, 2022, Jeff Asher at Crimealytics, Twitter post, July 1, 2022, 8:07 a.m., https:// Twitter.com/Crimealytics status /1542842217261408259 S equals 20 and T equals NQ of 7 AZYJOSFGX3 UYJ1B8 Access November 3, 2022 Cameron McWhorter, New Orleans has America's #1 murder rate. We're in a crisis. The Wall Street Journal, September 16, 2022, https://www.wsj.com/articles/new Orleans murder rate crime 1166333380008, access November 3, 2022. Raul Torres, Bernalillo County, Albuquerque, District Attorney. Mike Freeman, Hennepin County, Minneapolis, Attorney. John Kreutzat, Dallas County District Attorney. Glenn R. Funk, Nashville District Attorney General. Santana DeBerry, Durham District Attorney. George Gaskin, Los Angeles County District Attorney. Chisa Boudin, San Francisco District Attorney, and Alvin Bragg, Manhattan District Attorney. There were 2,554 homicides in those 30 cities through June 2022. In the 14 cities with Soros-backed rogue prosecutors, there were 1,752 homicides, representing 68% of homicides in the 30 top homicide cities in the United States. Every Soros rogue prosecutor listed above is a Democrat. A more detailed analysis. For a deeper dive into the numbers, we performed a more detailed analysis by examining how states' homicide rates are influenced by particular high-crime counties. Although the authors of the Red State Murder Problem provide the state-by-state data used in their study, they do not directly provide the county-level data necessary to answer this question. County Health Rankings and Roadmaps, CHRNR, a program of the University of Wisconsin Population Health Institute, however, does provide these comprehensive data. Specifically, CHRNR provides detailed data on healthcare, education, economic, and demographic variables, including homicide rates and overall state populations on a county-by-county basis all across the country. Table 2 provides homicide rate rankings across all 50 states based on homicide data from 2014 to 2020. A closer examination of the local officials in the counties and cities listed above reveals that the vast majority of them are Democrats. Homicide rates by state, 2014 to 2020. Rank. State. Homicide rate per 100,000 population. 1. District of Columbia. 19.846. 2. Louisiana 13.390. 3. Mississippi 12.303. 4. Alabama 10.728. 5. Missouri 9.363. 6. South Carolina 9.237. 7. Maryland 8.835. 8. New Mexico 8.403. 9. Tennessee 7.783. 10. Illinois 7.746. 11. Arkansas 7.688. 12. Oklahoma 7.411. 13. Georgia 7.264. 14. Alaska 7.112. 15. Nevada 6.564. 16. Delaware 6.486. 17. North Carolina 6.396.
18. Indiana 6.321. 19. Ohio 6.157. 20. Florida 6.064. 21. Michigan 5.980. 22. Arizona 5.808.
20.
All right, I guess don't know why the text reader went to Portuguese. I understood it, but you guys wouldn't, so I just ended it. Anyway, if you want to lower red state murder like rates, kick all the fucking loony leftists out of your state. You know, basically empty your cities and put some, hard-working blue people in there.
Are you fucking getting it yet?
I just.
Are you fucking getting it yet?
Yeah, nobody's coming over. I got people who like my, you're in a cult if, that I sent to some douchebag who was going on about how we're making. The guy was literally commenting. There were videos of like drag story hour and people like dancing in front of kids and all this good shit. And he was like, "You guys are just making shit up." I'm like, "You're literally commenting on videos showing you doing it." That's how I came up with. I'm trying to remember which one is. Gotta look, because there's one lie. Will lie with irrefutable proof. I don't have these numbered, and I wish I did. I wish that, like, the loony left would actually just send me the number of what they're going to say, so I could just, just check off the number that you're going to do. My favorite is, actually, it's happened. It's happened. Will refer to a biology book as right-wing propaganda. I don't get how that's still, literally was on, and that's what, 20. That's what he was on. He was literally commenting on a post showing these people
Well,
Are you fucking getting it yet?
but where's 20? 20.
Are you fucking getting it?
But yeah, literally on a video, and it was InstaFace, showing them with drag story hour and dancing in front of children, and he's like, "You're just making that stuff up."
You know you're in a cult if. Number 20. Will lie even with irrefutable evidence.
You're literally, it's a video. Don't make fucking videos. I used to go over to like Libs of TikTok because I don't have TikTok. I won't go on TikTok. But yeah, I've gone over to Libs of TikTok, and they literally tell you what they're doing. They don't hide it. They're yeah, they're not hiding it, people. They're grooming your kids. And my question is, just so I understand, why aren't you shooting these fuckers yet? You have the Second Amendment. I have like 300 videos on YouTube in a playlist of parents going to the school board where the school board doesn't even fucking listen to them. Why aren't you fucking like just laying waste? Why aren't you? There's a reason they gave us the Second Amendment. I don't think they did it over transgender CRT indoctrination bullshit, but I think because they're government, I think it falls within there.
This guy is fuck.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
And these people keep, like last month, I kept asking them, what are you proud of? I mean, you were born that way, right? What the fuck are you proud of? Well, we were oppressed and people murdered. You're pretty fucking bold for people who are being oppressed. Literally, like, you're literally now a protected group right along with the bald eagle. There are people now, there is a police department now looking for, I guess it was a truck that peeled out on the gay pride fucking colors you put on the street because it was, I guess, damn near a capital offense.
is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
You know you're in a cult if. Number 48. If the sight of the American flag triggers you, but you refuse to leave.
Fuck off past the deer stand.
Fuck you. Yeah, that's my message to you. Fuck you and kiss my ass.
And since nobody's shown up, I'll end tonight's podcast. And I hope to see you next. My anniversary is next Saturday, so I'll be pre-recording the show. Nobody showed up for chat. Oh, shocker! Such gutsy people. Anyway, I keep wanting the Looney Left to come in here because that would be entertaining, wouldn't it? Yeah. Anyway, next week will be pre-recorded because I will hopefully be on my celebrating my anniversary. Hopefully I'll be too drunk and to even do a podcast. So we'll probably won't see you next week, but there will be a show next week. Still, come in, comment, do what you do. Hit the like button, whatever they ask you to do. And I need catchphrases too. Give me some catchphrases that I can put in my soundbite on my soundboard that would be fucking cool. Like Jimmy and Andy,
Are you fucking getting it yet?
So more catchphrases, and send them to me in video form or audio form, and I'll add them to this if they're cool, So next week, another episode of the Super Gringo podcast.